Education has always been one of the most powerful tools for human progress. From ancient oral traditions to digital classrooms, the way people learn has changed dramatically over time. What once took place in temples, monasteries, and traditional classrooms now also happens on laptops, tablets, and smartphones. Today, technology has transformed education into something more flexible, accessible, and interactive. Learners can study from almost anywhere, connect with experts across the world, and even earn certificates online. Two of the most important developments in this transformation are Moocs, or massive open online courses, and gamification, which brings game elements into learning to make it more motivating and engaging. In this video, we will explore how education evolved through history, how MOOCs changed access to knowledge, and how gamification is shaping the future of learning. Let's begin by looking back. The history of education goes back thousands of years. In the earliest civilizations, education was not formal in the way we understand it now. Instead, it was often based on oral tradition, religious instruction, and practical training. In ancient Mesopotamia and Egypt around 3000 BCE, education was closely connected to religion, writing, and administration. Scribes were trained to read and write, which made them essential to society. In ancient Greece, education became more philosophical and focused on areas such as rhetoric, mathematics, ethics, and physical development. Thinkers like Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle influenced ideas about teaching and learning that still matter today. In ancient Rome, education emphasized grammar, public speaking, and preparation for civic life. As societies developed, education became more organized. During the Middle Ages, from about the 11th and 12th centuries, the first universities began to appear in Europe. Institutions such as the University of Bologna, founded around the 1088, and the University of Oxford, which developed during the late 11th and 12th centuries, helped create the model of higher education we still recognize today. These universities focused on subjects like theology, law, medicine, and philosophy. Later, during the Renaissance and the Enlightenment, education expanded further. New emphasis was placed on reason, science, humanism, and literacy. Education slowly moved beyond the elite and became more connected to the idea of citizenship and social development. A major turning point came with the rise of public education in the 18th and 19th centuries. Many countries began creating national school systems to provide broader access to basic education. This was important because it changed the education from something mainly reserved for privileged groups into a social right for larger populations. Then came the Industrial Revolution, which increased the need for organized schooling. Schools began using structures, schedules, age-based grades, and standardized curricula. While this system helped educate large number of people, it also created a more uniform and traditional model of learning. In the 20th century, education continued to evolve with the use of radio, television, and later computers. Distance learning started becoming more common, allowing people to learn without being physically presented in a classroom. The biggest transformation arrived with the internet in the late 20th century and the 21st century. Online learning made it possible to access courses, videos, readings, and discussions from spaces at any time. This shift helped education become more global, more flexible, and more learner-centered. The UNESCO has also highlighted how digital technologies and internet-based learning have expanded educational access and changed how people interact with knowledge. And from this digital transformation, a new model of learning emerged: the MOOC. So, what exactly is a MOOC? A MOOC, or Massive Open Online Course, is an online course designed for a large number of learners and usually made available openly on the web. Many MOOCs are free to join, and they often include video lessons, readings, discussion forums, quizzes, and certificates. Major providers today include courses like Coursera, edX, and FutureLearn, all of which offer courses from universities, organizations, and industry partners. MOOCs began to take shape in 2008 when George Siemens and Stephen Downes offered an online course called Connectivism and Connective Knowledge, often cited as one of the first MOOCs. This course opened learning to a much larger online audience and introduced a new way of thinking about knowledge as something built through networks and connections. Then, in the early 2010s, MOOCs gained international attention. Platforms such as Coursera, edX, and FutureLearn helped popularize the model by offering university-level learning to people around the world. This was revolutionary because learners no longer needed to relocate, pay full tuition, or meet strict admission requirements just to access high-quality education content. The impact of MOOCs on modern education has been significant. They have improved accessibility, supported lifelong learning, and helped people build both academic and professional skills. For example, someone might take a MOOC to learn data analysis, digital marketing, project management, research methods, or even healthcare topics. Others use MOOCs to prepare for career changes, strengthen their resumes, or simply explore personal interests. Current courses catalogs on major platforms show offerings across business, IT, health, language learning, science, and more. MOOCs also support learners who need flexibility. A working parent can study at night. A university student can supplement classroom learning. A professional can reskill without leaving a job. In this way, MOOCs have helped education become more open, adaptable, and inclusive. Of course, MOOCs also have challenges. Some learners struggle with motivation, completion rates, or lack of personal interaction. But despite these issues, MOOCs remain one of the clearest examples of how digital technology has expanded opportunity on a global scale. But access alone is not enough. To keep learners engaged, education also needs motivation, and that is where gamification comes in. Gamification in education. Gamification means applying game-like elements to non-game settings, such as education, in order to increase engagement and motivation. In learning environments, gamification does not necessarily mean playing a full game. Instead, it means using features inspired by games to make progress more visible, enjoyable, and rewarding. Gamification began gaining attention in education during the late 2000s and early 2010s, especially as online learning platforms and learning management systems became more advanced. Since then, schools, universities, and online platforms have increasingly used gamified strategies to keep learners active and involved. Module communities and plugins, for example, have long discussed and implemented gamified systems using points, levels, and progress indicators. Some of the most common game elements in education include points. which reward completed tasks, levels, which show progress over time, badges, which recognize achievements, rewards, which give learners a sense of accomplishment, and challenges, which encourage effort and problem solving. These features can make learning feel more active and goal-oriented. Instead of simply completing an assignment, students may feel that they are progressing through a journey. Teachers and platforms use several strategies to motivate learners through gamification. One strategy is immediate feedback, where students quickly see the results of their actions. Another is clear progression, where learners know what they need to do to reach the next level. A third strategy is recognition, such as badges, certificates, or leaderboard-style acknowledgements. These tools can support persistence, especially in online environments where students need extra encouragement. Today, some learning systems go even further by using plugins or digital reward systems that let students collect points and later exchange them for rewards, privileges, or virtual items. For example, a student may earn experience points for participating in discussions, completing quizzes, or submitting work on time, and later redeem those points for bonus materials, avatars, customization features, or other incentives built into the platform. Module plugins ecosystems include examples of tools that support the XP levels, adaptive gamification, and similar reward-based mechanisms. When used well, gamification can increase motivation, participation, and enjoyment. However, it works best when it supports meaningful learning goals rather than distracting from them. The purpose is not to turn every lesson into a game, but to make learning more engaging, rewarding, and student-centered. So, if education began with oral traditions and formal classrooms, what is it leading now? Education has come a long way. It began in ancient civilizations, developed through medieval universities, expanded through public school systems, and transformed again with digital technology and the internet. Each stage changed not only what people learned, but also how they learned. Today, Moocs have made education more accessible to millions by offering flexible, large-scale online learning opportunities. At the same time, gamification has made learning more interactive by using points, badges, level, and rewards to keep students motivated and engaged. Together, these innovations show that the future of education is not only digital, it is also open, flexible, and learner-centered. As technology continues to evolve, education will likely become even more personalized, connected, and engaging for people around the world. The story of education is still being written, and we are all part of this next chapter.